Hi there. Welcome to our website. My name is Veronique.
Hunter.
I'm Jessica.
My name is Jazmine.
On this website, you'll find a host of information about autism spectrum disorders, or ASD, which is classified as a group of neurological disorders that have lifelong impacts on communication and social skills. For the context of this website, we'll be focusing on students in grades 6 to 8, as these are the ages where major shifts, or big T transitions, occur. Big T transitions refer to moving from one stage of life to another, and in the context of our grade 6 to 8 student, this would include moving into middle school and high school. As some of you may know, a student diagnosed with ASD often has difficulty handling day-to-day disruptions and transitions. As a result, they benefit from having visual cues, planned routines, and strategies in place. This resource aims to help educators and parents ease the transition for these students into their new environments with new people. Some of the tools include social stories, which help autistic students learn expected social behaviors in specific settings. There has been a lot of research done with students on the autism spectrum, and we're still learning today. What we've presented to you on this website is only a fraction of the work that has been done. Please feel free to scroll through this website as we continue to elaborate on our findings and offer some suggestions to you. Now I'm going to pass it off to Hunter.
So when we're thinking about a transition plan, we're thinking of a full year transition, so the lead up to September. The first place we can start is preparing the year before. So there will be a transition plan that's actually done with the school in the student's IEP binder. Most likely to this point, they would have had grade to grade transitions, but now we're looking at not only grade to grade, but also school to school. So there will be some different considerations, such as maybe the action required might be more about the school day itself, the schedule changing. So are we going to need to finish the day sooner? So let's practice finishing the day at 2 and not 3, because that's what's going to be happening in the following year. Things like that. So some transition plan considerations would be, first, the new teacher. So it is important for both the student and the teacher to meet each other ahead of time so that they can best prepare for the new school year. And ease any anxiety for the student getting to know new staff. Transitioning to a new classroom is another consideration. There's going to be a lot of sensory overload happening, a lot of new changes, so asking the student what they want ahead of time is really important. So things like where they want their desk to be, what kind of locker they want, where they would like to sit are all really important considerations. They're transitioning to a new curriculum. That's another consideration. So having any staff that has ever been, or therapists that's ever been involved in creating things for that student, having them meet ahead of time so that we can have a strength-based approach is really important to this new curriculum. Also, transitioning to new school facilities. So it can be very overwhelming not to know where the bathroom is. So simple things like where the bathroom is, where the cafeteria is. This is all really important to show the student ahead of time to ease any stress. Then lastly, transitioning equipment. So parents may have worked really hard to get certain equipment in the classroom for their students, such as a rocking chair or a specific iPad or any sort of desk tool they may have. Parents want to know and that's going to come with them. So planning on how that equipment and technology is going to be brought with the student is really important, and also easing the mind of the student that if the equipment is coming, that nothing will change. Their apps won't be touched, they'll be in the same place. Those sort of discussions need to happen to have a smooth transition. And then also there are lots of important resources that from the Ministry of Education that can happen at this time. So a checklist for communication skills can be implemented so that the new staff knows where we're at with communication. Social interaction, so just allowing for this year before a student more opportunities than normal to specifically work on their social interaction, because that's going to be a huge thing the next year. And then suggestions to support transitions. So just having a checklist for all parties involved is really important to have leading up to the year before the transition. So now I'm going to pass it off to Jessica to talk about preparing during the summer.
The summer leading up to this new school year is a great time to help prepare your child for any new routines or social interactions they may have in September. It's important to help prepare them at this time because they're probably anxious and worried about meeting new students, new teachers, and going to a new school in general. We want to make sure when they start in September, they are comfortable and confident when they walk into their new school. One tip I have is to have conversations. Have frequent conversations about what to expect when they go to school, what they might see, what they might hear, any worries or concerns that they may have. Remember, be positive and open when you talk to them. The next tip I have is have your routine in place. They're going to be waking up and going to bed at different times than they are in the summer, so why not use the last month to slowly get them ready for those times? Have them wake up, go to bed the same time they will for school. Make sure they know when they'll be brushing their teeth, eating food, and getting ready for the bus. This will allow them to prepare for this new transition without abruptly being into their new routine. Another tip I have, count it down on the calendar. Every day, put an X on the day so your child visually can see how many days are left in the summer, and they can be prepared for when the school starts. The next tip I have is to create visuals. Put up visuals about their routines. Show a picture of them brushing their teeth, packing their bag, or create storyboards. Make little comic strips showing what different interactions they may face. Put them into the comic strip so they can visually see themselves in these situations. The last tip I have is to enroll them into summer camp or programs. Most community centers offer these programs throughout the summer. I would recommend putting them into a summer camp that's going to be in the same district as their new school. This is a way for them to meet new students that they will be in the same grade with and maybe even in the same class. Having them enrolled in these summer camps allows them to continue that social interaction throughout the summer. Next, we'll hear from Jazmine.
And I'm here to finish off the conversation today when it comes to autism and the transitions in the classroom. So we are going to focus more on the September onwards. So within the classroom, it is very important that educators have various tools available and different resources so that students with autism can definitely use that as a point of reference, whether it is for self-regulation, for interactions with their peers, or best of all, how they can communicate to their teacher about how they are feeling. We need to ensure that we do cater these different resources to different strengths because obviously not every person is going to be the exact same. And we want to really promote that self-growth at their own pace. So with these tools, in order for them to be successful, we need to focus on those main difficulties that students with autism have, which are ways to reason, how to have social interactions, and how to communicate. In the TED Talk below, you'll notice a young intermediate student named Nicole Young who discusses 3 different students within her school that have autism. The first 2 students are very successful. They are leaders, they are integrated, and they are part of extracurricular activities. Now, extracurriculars give you a shared experience, some commonalities, so it makes it much easier to relate to your peer or to have something to talk about. The third person or child that she does talk about, named Kate, is isolated and not as included in the camp. Children don't really understand why Kate can't communicate the same way, and they automatically label her as something different. And they don't want anything to do with it, which is very unfortunate, and it happens. So how can we, as educators, provide a safe space for those with autism? Well, I think, and I truly believe this, we need to open up the conversation about autism in the classroom at the junior division. We need to get kids involved in what it means to be autistic and for them to understand that there is a very large spectrum and everyone's going to be different. And this way we can come up with ways as a class on how to be inclusive. How can we help these students, our friends, with better and more positive transitions? Think about different clubs, like Nicole was saying in her TED Talk, how the first 2 students were successful because they were in the debate team and the chess club, and essentially all you need to do is cater to the interests of your kids and figure out ways that you can integrate an inclusive classroom, which will then foster positive transitions for the rest of their schooling careers. Thank you so much.